Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Imagine you lived in a dictatorship, one in which you are living in a designated area and you are not allowed to leave that area. You need official permission to cross from one area of a town into a different area of the town. It sounds like a horrifying nightmare, the sort of thing you would have found in Soviet-era Russia. It's being proposed to come in to Oxford in this country. They are drawing up plans to divide Oxford into 6 15-minute neighbourhoods. There is a whole movement for this 15-minute neighbourhood, and we'll discuss that. But what they're saying effectively is if you live in one part of Oxford, you are not to leave it and go to a different part of Oxford without good cause and official permission. This must be rejected at every single stage. They are claiming it's for ecological reasons, and we know, of course, that that is a lie. This has got nothing to do with ecology and everything to do with social control. They are gaslighting us for the future, when we will simply be good little drones living in our pods, eating our insects. We must reject it. We must consistently reject it. We must continue to reject it. And all these councillors who are saying that this is definitely coming in, whether you like it or not, need to be voted out at the next election and made quite clear that we will not be living in a Stalinist world made up by these elites who think they can get away with it. We know that over the years our rights are diminishing. First, they took away weapons because they know that they will be pointed towards them. They claim it's for our benefit, but of course we know it's for their benefit. Recently, and people are unaware of this, the plan is that there will be no more landlines on telephones and that everything will become digital. The reason is, of course, that it's much, much easier to cut digital communications than actual hard landlines. It may take 15, 20 minutes, half an hour to get someone out to physically shut down an exchange. Whereas in a digital world, it's the push of a button. So when anything happens, they can cut our communications. Other plans are to slowly and incrementally reduce car ownership. We can't have the masses having the ability to travel where they want, when they want, because that way, if there's a revolution, people will be able to join in. And the authorities certainly don't want that. Now, a lot of people think, oh, he's just a conspiracy nut. Well, let's look at what happened during the pandemic. I think the score is conspiracy nuts 38, normal people 0, because everything we said would happen and we were ridiculed for it happened. Vaccine passports, anyone? But we see the evidence with our own eyes, what these bastards in power are doing and are attempting to do. And they're starting with an experiment in Oxford. This must be rejected. Let's look at the article, and we're also going to take a look at what a 15-minute city is, and it isn't pretty. So, Oxford traffic filters will divide the city into 6 15-minute areas. And this 15-minute thing is really, really worrying, but we'll go on. Now, of course, they're trying to say it's for our benefit, and we know, as I say, that that is complete and utter rubbish. This is entirely part of a larger agenda, an agenda of reduction of rights and freedoms, and eventually we will be, like I say, those mindless drones, merely possessions of a new world order, a single universal government. That's the direction of travel, and anyone with any sort of modicum of intelligence can see how awful this idea is for the freedom of people. Roadblocks stopping most motorists from driving through Oxford city centre will divide the city into 6 15-minute neighbourhoods, a county council travel chief has said. And he insisted the controversial plan will go ahead whether people liked it or not. So much for democracy then. These people are now admitting that democracy in Oxford is dead and that they have an elite, agenda-driven social engineering plan that does not take into consideration the wants, likes and desires of the people they are now controlling. So Duncan Enright, who's a fascist cabinet member for Oxford County Council for Travel Development Strategy, explained the authority's traffic filter proposals in an interview in the Sunday Times. He said filters would turn Oxford into a 15-minute city, the sort so beloved of Stalin, with local services within a small walking radius. This is utter BS. This is utter crap. This has got nothing to do with providing services. He said, Mr. Enright said, it's about making sure you have the community centre which has all those essential needs. No, it's about keeping poor people in their little enclave in the city. We don't want the poor people coming into the rich people's area. That's what this is. We don't want people freely moving around, as is their legal right in a free, open democracy. They don't want that. They want you limited to your area. Well done, District 9. Good luck in the Hunger Games. He says the aim is to reduce traffic in the city centre, and that's a lie, and make city living more pleasant. If you ever tried driving into Oxford, it's virtually impossible to drive in as it is. So the lies that come out of these people are ridiculous. But critics say the plans will negatively affect businesses and the city centre's economy. Good. I hope the whole of the centre of Oxford dies. I hope every business there shuts up, boards up, everyone leaves. They can see the third world fall at the centre of Oxford, and then everybody can point at this council and say, they did this. Now, they need to be voted out. People of Oxford need to be up there at every opportunity rejecting this, because this is nothing to do with ecological goodness or anything like that. This is social control. So a decision will be made on November the 29th, which was last week. He said, the date for the cabinet decision following a consultation which closed earlier this month. Mr. Enright told the Sunday Times it's going to happen definitely. So regardless of what people want, regardless of the fact that it wasn't on their manifesto, they have been informed that they are going to do this, because this has come from right up above. The new traffic filters on St Cross Road, Thames Street, Hythe Bridge Street and St Clements would operate 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. 2 more filters on Marston Ferry Road and Holloway Road would operate from Monday to Saturday. People can drive freely through their own neighbourhood and can apply for a permit to drive through the filters into other neighbourhoods for up to 100 days a year. You need a permit to drive on a road that you are paying tax for? What the fuck are these people on? These people are Stalinist bastards who are now trying to say, oh, you can drive on that road, but only if you apply and pay for a permit that only allows you to do it 100 days a year. Well, what if you worked in that zone? Is your job gone because of these wankers? What if you've got family, needy parents? Oh, look, there's parents. My God, my elderly parents need to be looked after. Not 100 days a year, every day of the year. Oh, that's tough shit. Your parents can die because we are fascist bastards. That's what they're saying. A maximum of 3 permits a household will be allowed. There should be no permits. You can drive in a free country where you want, especially when you're paying road tax. This has got to be illegal. And I think it's possibly even anti-human rights. Because if you've got family in a different bit and you're being told you can't drive to that person, then that is denial of family life. That is anti-human rights. These people need to be put in fucking jail. Hotelier Jeremy Mogford, who owns the Old Bank Hotel in High Street and the Old Parsonage Hotel in Gees, both in Banbury Road, described the plan as disastrous for business. He's previously told the Mail, what we have is people making decisions that don't live in the city centre or spend much time in the city. We're being dictated to by councillors who don't live here. Simple answer, vote those fascists out. He says there's a lot of scepticism that consultations are a token gesture. The last time round, the majority were against the bus gates and it was postponed until now. He told the Sunday Times he had just received his first item of hate mail, a postcard saying, Oxford has been very good for you. Why do you hate Oxford? He hates Oxford. Who knows? These people hate Oxford. The people who live in Oxford must not want their freedoms because they've voted these people in. Now, when people die, and let me tell you, people will die because other people can't get to them to give them the healthcare and the service they need, these councillors need to be sued for the cause of that death. They need to go to jail. They need to be jailed for what they're doing anyway. But what this is so terrible and damaging. It's unbelievable. And they're doing it without any mandate. They're doing this without mandate, and they're telling people of Oxford, this is coming in whether you like it or not. Now, this is a trial in Oxford. Do you think it will stop at Oxford? This will be all over the country. This will be all over the world. It's already being proposed to be a worldwide movement, that people are assigned to an area and they cannot leave that area. You think I'm joking? Let's look at this. So the idea of a 15-minute city has recently gained traction amongst policymakers. Yeah, because it gives them control. As an urban invitation with the potential to address intersecting social and ecological challenges. Social, yes. Ecological, not so much. Let me shrink that down a bit more. Ecological, not so much, because it's got nothing to do with ecology. In the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, municipal governments around the world have sought to reconfigure urban environments, i.e. control people. They saw riots. All over the world, there were COVID rejection, where there were people rioting, there were people gathering. They don't like that. The one thing the elite and the powerful have a fear of is normal people. They scared shitless of normal people because we number billions and they only number thousands. And we should be up there and we should be decorating lampposts with these people. One idea which has attracted increasing interest among policymakers is the 15-minute city. The concept forms a pillar of the C40 Cities Group, Agenda for a Green and Just Recovery. Well, you know when you read something titled Agenda for a Green and Just Recovery, that is actually an anagram of fuck you, independent free peoples of the world. You are about to become the disciples of a new cult, the cult of the elite, and we are not having it. Variants of it are already in action in places such as Paris, Milan, Portland and Melbourne. Originating from the French Colombian academic Carlos Moreno, the core proposal of the 15-minute city is that urban space should be designed so that residents are able to meet all their daily needs within a 15 minutes walk or cycle from their home. Yeah, in other words, you have no reason to leave your designated area. Yeah, that's what this is. Needs are understood here in the comprehensive sense, including food, education, employment opportunities, healthcare and green space in which to relax and exercise. When you are having your rights and freedoms removed from you, you do not relax and you do not give up those rights. Power is never given, power is always taken. And these bastards are taking power from us. The power to go where we like, when we like. This is wrong on every single level. And it's worldwide. This is going to come in unless we reject it now and at every single stage. And anyone who ever proposes it needs to be vilified, needs to be prosecuted, needs to be voted out of office every single time. We cannot have this. This is the biggest restriction on human freedom probably in history. This is no different what they're doing here than they're building ghettos exactly the same way as a certain German liked in the 1930s. That's what these people are. They are building ghettos and they are walling them and they are controlling us. These people are evil and need to be rejected. And by rejected, I mean, let's just say they will never make another decision in their life, in their very, very soon to be ended lives. That's how bad this is. These people need to see what happens. They need to be up on lampposts, every single one of them. And every time anyone ever proposes anything like this, another lamppost. It's just so angry with it. The 15-minute city has an intuitive appeal. No, it doesn't. It really, really doesn't. Who wouldn't want to avoid spending hours travelling across sprawling urban environments? Are you kidding me? This has got nothing to do. Oh, look, we're gonna dress this up as, oh, you won't have to sit in traffic jams. Oh, you won't have to do this. Fuck off. You are saying we're spinning this so you're going to like it because it's coming in, because we don't want you moving from here to here. Oh, also we'll cut the communications means. Let me tell you, people, you need to go out tomorrow because this is changing. The world is changing. Now, there is another part to this as well, separate from this. You look at the likes of Holland, where they're doing the next experiment. Holland was almost self-sufficient in food. And that is a bad thing. Not bad for the people. But when you have a country where farmers can produce enough food and can sell it to the people directly, you cannot control the population through starvation. So what happens? The government is now telling the Dutch farmers they have to cut down this. They've got to not produce as much food there. Oh, we're going to say it's all to do with fertiliser. Bullshit. It's all to do with not producing enough food. And so that you have to import your food. They can't control farmers growing food and they can't control farmers selling food. But if the farmers ain't growing it and you haven't got enough, they can control the import of food. And when you control the food supply, you control the people. And when the people get uppity, you can starve them. And that is also part of the agenda. So it's remove weapons, it's remove communications, it's remove the ability to travel, and then it's control the food supply. All these things are happening. We see them happening in front of our eyes. People, you have to change your governments. You have to vote out these fascists. They will maybe not affect you, but when your children or your children's children are sitting in squalor and in starvation because the government doesn't like how they think or what they say, that is what's coming. And yes, it sounds like a conspiracy, but it isn't a conspiracy when you can see the evidence with your own eyes, and it's happening all over the world all the time, and we all need to reject it. And I'm going to come up now and get very, very angry if I don't stop. So there we go. I'm coming up. I will tell people that they need to make some purchases. I would suggest if you've got the available capital, get a solar and battery system on your roof. That way at least you will get some power when they cut the grid. You'll have your own energy generation ability. If not, buy a generator. Because again, when they cut the grid to certain areas, Area 9, that's been a bit vociferous recently. Oh, we'll cut the power for 24 hours. That'll freeze them out. They'll soon do as they're told. If you've got a generator, you'll be okay. So get a generator. Another thing I would suggest you buy are CB radios. They may be able to cut our telephones, but if we've all got radio communications, then we can still talk. We can still get messages out. This sounds awful. This sounds like, a complete nutter. But we've seen it. We know what governments do. We see all around the world what is happening. And you don't think that any particular government is different than any other government. Even the likes of Canada, where they froze people's bank accounts because not the lorry drivers. When the truck drivers went on strike, people who donated money to the truck drivers had their bank accounts suspended. That, from a supposedly Western progressive nation, it shows you what these power-mad maniacs are capable of doing. Children went hungry. Children starved because their parents had thrown $30 into a trucker fund. These elite bastards need to be on lampposts up and down the entire country, up and down every country. We need to have people running these countries that actually know what they're talking about and actually care for the people they're representing, because these elite don't, and they will restrict you, remove your rights, remove your right to move. They'll cut your communications, they'll cut your power, they'll starve you into submission. You can see it's happening. The evidence is all around you. Use your eyes. Buy CB radios, buy generators. It is the only way we have got any chance of defeating them, and vote them out. The most important thing we do at the next election is to vote out these elites. I would suggest just vote for independence. That way there's no whole party mechanism that can control things and control the agenda. So just don't vote for Liberals, Labour, Tories, none of them. Certainly not the Greens, none of them. Just vote for independence. That way the message is sent that we will not be slaves. We will not be drones of the state. Thank you very much for listening. I'm very angry. I'm going to go and calm down. But if you like what you hear and see on the channel, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Ring the bell for notification of future output. Leave a like, leave a comment. Please share the video. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, buy a generator, and goodbye.